That's it. The fewest he has ever had as a starting quarterback. No touchdowns. He threw a pick. Who is this? He's never beaten the Titans in the regular season. Greggy, they're 12.5-point favorites, and it does this change.
All right, Raquel, coming at me strong early in this show. I don't think it'll change. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game by quite a bit. I believe that the pass protection for the Chiefs is better than it's ever been. I looked deep into Cynthia's model. She let me get in there this week, and it said that they have the third best pass protection group in the league according to her win shares, which is amazing, and it makes sense. When you watch that last game they had against the 49ers, Patrick Mahomes got touched 3 times. Like, what is more dangerous than Patrick Mahomes with all the time in the world? At one point in that game, they scored 6 touchdowns in 7 possessions, and on the 7th, they had a touchdown overturned by penalty. It is getting outrageous, so I know the Titans are good up front, but they're going to protect Patrick Mahomes because they do every week.
I'm right in line with you. I think you have, 11 points different? I've got more than that. I've got 13 points different. I have 31-18 in this matchup in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to point out that the secondary for the Titans, they're allowing the highest completion percentage, 65.2, the most yards on an average basis, and a very, very high passer rating on deep passes, 148. This is not a good matchup when it comes to stopping Patrick Mahomes. So not only is the pressure not going to be super effective, but also on the back end, those deep passes have a really good chance of being complete. It's not a great way to win, especially because if the Titans were to win, they have to use ball control and Derrick Henry, but then he can score quickly. So it's advantage Chiefs for me.
I hear ball control and Derrick Henry. I think the Tennessee Titans are fine playing that game, and I think the acquisition of Kadarius Toney is a little bit of an admission that the plan coming into the season wasn't exactly playing out as the Chiefs needed. Cynthia mentioned deep passing opportunity. I think Kadarius Toney is going to free up some things for that. But I would like to talk about Jeffrey Simmons, because somebody needs to talk about Jeffrey Simmons as an interior defensive lineman. He's got 5.5 sacks, contending for the league lead. He's a couple of way playing on the interior. He's just so good, and that creates some problems. I see a Chiefs win, I agree, but 11 points, 13 points, 12.5 points, too much for me.
Okay.
Kansas City wins 24-17 in a grind-out game that has 36 Derrick Henry carries, because what else are they going to do?
Wow. All right, clean sweep meme alert. First meme alert of the show. I'm going KC as well by a big win, 30-20. I know Halloween has passed, but I want to tell you what is terrifying, okay? Think of Andy Reid. You know, he's got the smile. He's got the cute cheeks. He is absolutely lethal when he gets just a little bit more time to prepare. He is 20-3 in the regular season after a bye, including a perfect 4-0 with Mahomes as his starting QB. The Titans offense is in last place, and then you got the Chiefs offense, who is averaging 30 points a game. That is insane. I think that they are absolutely going to outplay, outwit, out-terrify the Titans.
I just like that when you think Andy Reid, the first thing that comes to mind, cute cheeks.
Cute cheeks. He's got these little
like a
cute little
walrus.
cheeks. Come on, he's like a cute grandpa. I love Andy Reid. Okay, the last time we saw Tom Brady go up against the Rams, we thought it was the last time we would see him on a football field. The Rams won 30-27 in the NFC divisional round. The Bucs made a late comeback but came up short. Of course, Brady retired, then unretired. Now probably wishes he'd stayed retired. It is time for the Drive to Excellence presented by Mercedes-Benz. Bucs are favored by 3 at home. Loser of this game is in a very dark place. Who do you like on Sunday?
I think that the Bucs take this one. They avenge that loss. I have 24-20 as my final score. I want to talk about just how good was we talk about the Bucs defense, and there are some holes, but they're good at generating pressure. 25 sacks, the third most, and Matthew Stafford has been under tremendous pressure this season. On one-third of his dropbacks, he's been under pressure compared to just 22% last season. That's a significant increase, and not only has it been like more pressure, but it's also been more direct pressure, meaning he's been on the ground after it, not just, a guy comes in his face and he's not really, getting hit. He's taking actual body blows more often this season.
I like the Bucs in this game too. I have the exact same score.
You've been
as
spending way
Cynthia,
too much time.
so that you know it's gonna be right.
Get out of the computer, Greg.
It's 24-20. Yeah, I'm stuck inside the model right now. When you watch these two teams, you mentioned Matthew Stafford. I wish I'm modeling these gray jackets. I'm still recovering from that
It wasn't.
insult.
I dig. You're very
Okay, you
fashionable.
concentrate on what
You know what works for you.
Okay, exactly. And what works for Tom Brady, by the way, this year is like throwing the ball down the field well. Look at some of the best throws that he's made this year. The difference between these two teams is it's hard to put together a Matthew Stafford highlight reel. Tom Brady, on the other hand, has 3 or 4 throws every week that makes you think, wow, he's still got it.
Yeah.
It's good that he came back. He's actually second in the league. Only Josh Allen has more big-time throws this season than Tom Brady, according
love that.
to PFF. So when I look at the Bucs, I see a bad team, a good team rather, that's like making mistakes and playing like a bad team sometimes. When I look at the Rams, I just see a bad team. And so I think the Bucs are going to win.
Telling your
this
daughter.
year.
I'm telling your
She's
daughter.
really
I'm
mad.
telling your daughter.
disappointed
His
watching
daughter's
this
a big
episode.
fan.
She's been asking all week what I'm going to do, and I've been telling her I'm
Just can't-
picking against the Rams. She says, when you pick against the Rams, they always lose. And I said, well, that's their fault, not mine.
Wow.
This is Daddy's choice, okay?
Hard lessons for Ellis. I agree with you guys in terms of the Buccaneers winning this game. I also agree that we have two defenses that are struggling. Cynthia mentioned the Buccaneers' ability to get the quarterback on the ground. The problem is with Shaq Barrett's injuries, their ability to generate pressure is severely diminished. And honestly, good news for both teams. Neither one of these defenses can generate pressure. So both Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady will have a chance to sit back there and pick some defenses apart. But there's just been too much time. In terms of pressure percentage, both of these teams are in the bottom 5 of the entire NFL. And consider what they've done in recent years, what that means. Teams featuring a guy who's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame and Aaron Donald, and this Bucs team that won that Super Bowl that was so close a year ago cannot generate pressure. That leads to a lot of this. Just guys running down the field wide open, quarterbacks being able, like, look, Jimmy G is making plays. What are we doing? What's going
Hey,
on?
there's no Jimmy G slander on this show.
More points than we expect.
I am going Bucs as well. Clean sweep.
Oh.
I feel like I've been back and forth on this game all week long because I just don't know who to trust. And then it came out, we were talking about this in the pre-show meeting, Sean McVay, so maybe some whispers of like how he wants to retire when his core guys are going to be gone. You know, there's like a million other players on this team, Sean McVay, that are going to be probably pretty disappointed to hear what you say. But then I look at the two quarterbacks, okay? Who can take us home in this game? Brady is about to eclipse like 100,000 passing yards. That's insane, right? That's the number, 100,000.
So that's what did it for you?
What are we giggling about? I'm just saying that
Yes.
it's still Tom Brady.
I'm giggling that
trusting him.
we almost have all 4 of us
I
have
know,
the exact
right.
same
Exactly.
Oh, that's making my brain itch.
I know. I feel so bad to my family, but I think if ever we're going to get a meme alert wrong here, it's with the exact same score.
Yeah, this might be Kurt still be wearing that dolphin costume. Let's hope.
Hopefully.
We do have
know
it
that
on
they're
hand.
going to put him in that costume as much as possible.
We do have it on hand. Okay, let's talk about this other game, Ravens-Saints. Spoiler alert, all of our scores are very close. And who do you like on Monday Night Football?
I have the Ravens by 2 points, 25-23. Roquan Smith, welcome to the Ravens. What a great addition. This off-ball linebacker is going to make it very difficult for Alvin Kamara to have the kind of gains that we've seen him have. And obviously, it started off a little slow, but he had picked it up in recent weeks. It's going to be much more difficult from that standpoint. Also, when I'm looking at this matchup and I'm seeing kind of what's going on Monday, no Michael Thomas means it's going to be a lot more reliance on maybe shorter passes. So I just think Roquan Smith makes a big difference.
I think he does too, but I don't think it's enough. I got the Saints winning this game. It's a similar score, but it's 25-24, and I've been anxious to reveal like whether it's actually here, but it's here, people. The Dalton
go.
Renaissance is here. The
Let's
Andy
go.
Dalton Renaissance is happening. He's playing good football. He's making good decisions, and yes, he had those pick sixes on prime time.
Who cares?
Okay.
Who cares?
That happens
Wait,
to Andy
Andy
Dalton.
or Gino?
Gino, of course.
Yeah,
I'm not
oh,
putting
Just making
Andy
sure.
Dalton
Just making sure.
at that level, but he's been playing without his starting receivers, Landry and Thomas. It looks like he gets Jarvis Landry back for this game. The running game's been better. Chris Olave is a true number 1. He's the guy who gets the ball to Kamara. A little more on that later in the show. That's what's called a tease. And I really do think he's
You
playing
yelled at.
well.
You guys missed the.
Are you
I got
like, you're a Dalton
pointed at.
hater, Claybon? And you have to admit, if you watch him snap to snap this year, he's been good.
This is the best version of Andy Dalton that we've ever seen.
That's all I'm
even
asking.
better than the playoff years with the Cincinnati Bengals. And best thing about him is he throws the ball to Alvin Kamara, which makes sense. Which is why Cynthia pointed out, if you're Eric DeCosta, you make some calls, you go get Roquan Smith. I know people have decried off-ball linebacker. Okay, if you have a linebacker that can cover, you win. You win. Look at the teams that have won Super Bowls and what they've been able to do with linebackers that can cover. Yes, it's not like, hey, Roquan, just go get Alvin. It's going to be difficult, but it's a spot that the defense needed to improve. And that's why I have the Ravens winning this one. 26-21. Greg gets his Andy Dalton points, but the way Lamar played, especially in the second half against the Buccaneers, that version of Lamar is going to win games. It's just going to happen.
But what version of Lamar? It's a toss-up every single week. Which Lamar are we getting?
The one that's healthy, the one, even you lose Mark Andrews, you lose Rashad Bateman, it didn't matter. DeMarcus Robertson is the number one wide receiver with scoring points.
I was just informed that you've picked the Ravens every week.
I am exceedingly biased.
Oh.
And had they not turned the ball over in the fourth quarter for 3 consecutive games, I would have been right every week.
It's good to see Claybon be a fan.
Struggled to
He is a
close.
Lamar Jackson fan.
It's not like is this bananas? I'm picking a good team to win every week?
I don't know. I'm going Saints. We're split right
told that you
down
were.
the middle. They also have a close win, 24-21. And I just want to echo every single thing that Greg said. That Thursday night
wow.
football
We're
game,
really
that
back
Andy,
together
that
now.
Andy, we're back on good terms. That Andy Dalton absolutely balled out, 361 yards, 4 touchdowns. We're not going to talk about the picks, but you know what that Thursday night football game is called? It's called prime time, baby. And they're playing in another prime time game on Monday. Andy shows up for those, and so do the Saints. On Monday Night Football, they're 6-2 in prime time since 2018. Let's go, New Orleans. Okay, guys, less than a week away. Next Wednesday, oh, this is delicious. Hard Knocks in season with the Arizona Cardinals. For their sake, and the sake of the NFL Films crew that has to be around them for the rest of the season, they have got to win this game. I have not been this excited for a season of Hard Knocks, maybe ever.
Wow.
This is going to be so juicy and so good. Sin Cardinals are a 1.5-point favorite, and you still haven't picked the Seahawks
What, all
to
year?
win
I've never
this
didn't
work out for you
entire
last week.
season.
This
8
didn't work
Worked out for me
times.
last week.
Most
8
weeks.
times you have doubted them. Will you do it again?
Nope.
Yeah, they got the model
Let's
now.
go, Seattle. Just a 1-point win.
Super convincing. 24-23. I think this is an interesting one, but Ken Walker has been a huge difference maker for this team. The Michigan State product, have to get that in there. Contractually obligated.
Go Sparty.
Great yards after contact, yards after the catch. I mean, I would say it's really going to be hard for anyone to top him for Offensive Rookie of the Year. So when I'm looking at this game, the control, that's no situation to be able to turn the ball over, right? The more you have a nice ground game, the better opportunity you have to complete those deep passes and keep Geno Smith doing what we see Geno Smith doing.
There is a producer on this show that we really care about that wants you to know, as a Michigan grad, you don't have to mention the Spartans
you don't.
every single time.
Okay.
don't.
Okay. You know, listen, I like Michigan too. I actually like them both. I understand that doesn't make any sense to anyone, but I'm from there, so it's
you go.
even.
When you have 17 degrees, you like a lot of college football.
None of them from any schools in Michigan.
I do, despite Cynthia's mathematical knowledge and capability. I agree with her. I'm not inside the model. I just have looked at this Arizona Cardinals defense, and I've seen what they are not good at, and that is pressuring the quarterback. Guys have a lot of time. They are 25th in sacks, and you would think the key to stopping this Geno revolution in 2022 would be getting pressure on the quarterback, but that's the problem. Geno against pressure is one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. He's so hot, and as Greg Rosenthal has written for a decade plus,
Wow.
people are sleeping on Geno.
Right. I'm a little nervous about this game. I have Geno and the Seahawks winning, of course, too.
Of course.
If he
That'd be
can
great.
conquer the model, like he can conquer the Arizona Cardinals, please. It's 24-20. And one of the reasons he's been so good, you mentioned against pressure, Patrick, is that he just stands in the pocket and he's not worried when the pressure is in his face. And oh, by the way, he can scramble out of pressure. I didn't really understand that Geno Smith had the movement skills that he did. It's one way I underestimated him. And the Cardinals are a particularly bad team in the secondary. Even when they do get pressure, they're among the league's worst in terms of giving up quarterback rating as a defense when they're giving it. What are you laughing at?
You always
Cynthia?
pick 24-20.
Well, it's just like a very common score. I guess I got to get more creative.
Gotta be more
Somebody figure out how many times he's picked up 24-20 this season.
We'll look into it.
Gino's like better under pressure, though. You know what? That's
Gotta
like,
love him.
You know.
Gotta love them. Guys, the Seahawks are very fun. They are very good right now. Tariq Woolen, Defensive Rookie of the Month. Kenny Walker III, Offensive Rookie of the Month. NFC Offensive Player of the Month. Give it to me. Who is it?
Gino.
It is Geno Smith, okay? These guys are super fun. I watched that Giants game, every minute of it. It was a blast. Not to mention this defense, which all of us just attacked all season long.
Wow.
Has improved. Allowed 106.5 passer rating on passes of 10-plus air yards in week 1 to 5. Allowed a 76 passer rating on such passes the last few weeks. They are getting better. There's nothing to make fun of here, okay? And I'm talking to myself because I did that
Greg,
a lot.
You picked it 24-29 times.
This week?
9 times?
That's not true.
season.
That can't
No
be
chance.
true.
Okay, Greg, Justin Fields has been better. The Bears' run game has come alive. They are home underdogs this week against Miami. Who do you like in this one?
I like the Dolphins to win. I think the Dolphins are getting better every week. I have them winning 29-20, but I don't care because I'm excited to watch Justin Fields play football, and I feel like we don't talk about the Bears enough on this show. And let's just give the man some flowers because I've been waiting 6 years, ever since my guy Jay Cutler left the Bears, for an entertaining viewing experience watching Chicago each week. And it's taken 6 years to get here, but we're here. 200-plus yards in terms of their rushing attack 4 times this year, and Justin Fields is making great decisions. We asked for design runs. They gave us design runs. Like, we asked them to throw the ball deep more. He's doing it, and oh, by the way, they got Chase Claypool. I know I picked Miami. I think Miami's really good.
Change that.
But I saw
By
Chicago
9.
Greg,
come
you
back
picked it by
on the
9
Cowboys
points.
defense. Maybe I should make it closer, but that's
No,
just
just go ahead and change the pick.
Wanna go
Go
with
ahead.
Bears?
confusing. The pick.
You should maybe, if we've asked for all these other things we've gotten, and maybe if you ask for a win, you'll also get that.
We don't know what's going to happen, but we do know like what's going to make us happy. Watching Justin Fields makes me happy.
There you go. I love
I
that.
have a close one.
with your
I have 25-21 in this matchup. I do still have the Miami Dolphins winning the game. 2 things. Number 1, you talked about Roquan Smith being a Raven. Well, it means he's not a Bear anymore, which means the opportunity for Raheem Mostert in this matchup to be a big factor gets even better. So I think that's very interesting. Also, when you're looking at the maybe potential game script, yeah, I do like some Justin Fields, but I do think that the Dolphins come out first. They've increased their pass rush capability. Justin Fields might be running for his life. That's a tease right there. But I still think it's the
Tease.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
Patrick.
Fun to watch him run, even when it's just breaking out of the pocket, even when the runs aren't designed. We like seeing Justin Fields run. I have a close game. It's not as close as Cynthia's. It's 1 point off, 26-21 Dolphins. And it's a lot of the similar reasons that Cynthia mentioned about the departure of Roquan Smith. But I'll take another part of this offense. As much as we saw Tony Pollard running down on those outside runs, just torching this Bears defense, Jalen Waddle's leading the NFL in yards per catch this year. I know a lot of people last year were like, oh, he had 13 catches for like 80 yards. Well, okay. So now we're 2 years
Why
back
do
from
they
the
talk
broken.
so annoying?
Because
Yeah,
they're
what's up with
annoying.
that?
Because they say
Yeah.
annoying things. The guy's coming off a broken leg, and he didn't have that many explosive plays. Well, how do you like him now? He's getting deep shots. It's going to be tough. They have to contend with the RPOs, the crossers in the middle, and he does stuff like that. He just catches one and houses it because he's fast and good.
You know, we were just poking fun at Kurt Warner for wearing the Dolphins costume. You literally waddled on this show. There was once upon a time where you got up and
Yeah, it
waddled.
was like 6 weeks ago, and you made me do it.
And I don't regret it at all. I'm going Dolphins as well. Dolphins 24-17. I'm actually very excited for this game. You've got the Bears' top 5 passing defense versus Dolphins' 3rd best passing offense. And I don't know if you guys saw Tua this week. He's feisty. We're in the spicy Tua era. I think the press asked him, "What have you improved on the most?" And he was like, thought about it for a second. He's like, "Pretty sure the deep balls. What do you guys think? Think I've improved on the deep balls? What do you guys think? And he's like, just so you know, that's a subtle jab. Like, he's so not used to jabbing people, he had to clarify. Just so you all know, that's for you.
That's like what I would do.
I love Tua so much. He's got a chip, okay? This is a challenge for him. I'm excited to see him do it. Okay, it's time for this guy or that guy. Sin, FanDuel has pretty even rushing totals for Justin Fields and David Montgomery. You think either of them goes for over 50 yards this week? It's fun.
You know, I do think Justin Fields goes for more than 50 rushing yards this week. Why? Because you talk about that Miami pass rush. They've got now Bradley Chubb there. So I think this is going to be one where the designed runs, the increase in the designed runs like we talked about, as well as scrambling yards are going to add up to more than 50. I also think David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert could take some of those from him. So for me, it's Justin.
Well, yeah, what about that other guy? This guy, that guy, or that other guy, Khalil Herbert goes
That's
over
right.
50.
So I'm going with
do
Justin
it.
Fields. Let's just
love
go
it.
with Justin Fields.
Love it. Okay, it is time for quick picks. Cynthia, we're staying in the NFC North. Lions, Packers.
Ooh.
You've taken the Lions twice this year, which is, I think, pretty crazy for you. They've lost both times, though. What about this week against Green Bay? Can they do it?
No.
Come on.
26-22. It is Green Bay. game.
joy.
Aaron Rodgers is going to pass for the most yards he's passed for, and Aaron Rodgers is going to do terrible things to this defense.
Why? Why
Same
this
with Aaron Jones. Same with A.J. Dillon. Watch this. Do you remember 2015? Do you remember where you were? Well, I do. I was watching this. Ready? And a Hail Mary. And
Why? Why are you doing this to yourself?
Oh, it's complete. Rodgers to Rodgers. Dagger. That was at Ford Field. Let's be honest with you. Like, this just happens all the time. Like, it doesn't even matter.
I think
to
you're
me.
reverse jinxing yourself.
Right.
think
I
that
hope
this
so.
is- Like, we're all on
This
the
isn't
Lions.
what my
We're all choosing
heart
to
says.
believe.
So I know
No.
terrible things happen to the Lions. Like, I deserve to have terrible things happen to me. That's generally how I feel, but especially for what I'm going to do here. I'm not letting you have a prime number
On Aaron
the
Rodgers? You
Packers
stop it.
over
Don't
the Lions.
you
I'm
dare.
switching to the
No,
Packers.
no.
I'm just blocking her.
I
Just out
don't
of
like
principle.
this.
Is the first time I think I've ever done this on the
Hate, hate,
Guys,
hate,
I
hate,
don't
hate,
like
hate,
this.
hate, hate.
I'm like now the
me
survivor,
my
the guy on
prime
Survivor who
number
just starts
back.
playing the game. I'm blocking you on that. Sorry.
What? This is a bummer.
Doesn't feel right.
I thought we were all in unison except for Cynthia. It's
We-
fine.
we
Patrick
believe
and I are
Rachel.
going to roll in here next week laughing.
Roar.
You guys are like, we love Aaron Rodgers. No way. Okay, next up we got Panthers Bengals. Spread here is 7, and I say not only do the Bengals cover, I've got them winning by 10 whole points. The Bengals Browns game was so bad. It was so bad, and that is obviously a very important AFC North battle, okay? Every single time these guys play, it is fun. The Bengals just, look at that. Just not even alive in the slightest. Joe Burrow said something interesting. He said, down the stretch, that's what we were so good at last year, finding ways to win. It might not be pretty, but we found ways, and we've got to get back to that in those ugly, tough divisional matchups, the games on the road where things might not be going great for you. Well, the Bengals are back home. This is a bounce back spot. We've all got the Bengals here, so we all clearly believe that game was so ugly.
I do like
they're
the
better
Panthers
than
to
that.
keep it closer, though.
Panthers
the
have
Bengals
been
are
really
short-handed
surprising the last few
in the
weeks.
secondary. They should feel good after the Panthers' victory last week for me on that, pick. P.J. Walker with that great throw. They're going to do it again.
Flag.
Keep it
They
close.
got momentum on a moral victory. I love
Yeah,
it.
there you go. Keep telling yourself that. Falcons being in the playoff race, Siri. First place in the NFC South, Greg. They have got the Chargers this week. You have picked against them every single week. Does it continue?
Falcons?
Huh? Apparently so.
That shocks me, but I'm going to end it right now. In an
Whoa, there
upset,
we go.
I'm going to pick them to beat
Here we
the
go.
Chargers 23-20.
Oh, not 24-20.
No, now you're making me realize I got to work on these scores here. But I like it because of the coaching matchup. You look at Arthur Smith and you look at Brandon Staley and you look at one guy in Atlanta who has $85 million in dead money on his salary cap. The Chargers had $85 million more to spend on their roster, but who's got the better record here? It's Atlanta and Arthur Smith. And you look at what Brandon Staley was trying to fix in the offseason. It was their run defense. And you know what they haven't really fixed? Their run defense. And to me, that's coaching. And the Chargers are a team where they plug one hole in terms of a problem, and then another problem pops up. Whereas Atlanta, I think they max out their talent. I think he's done a really good job, and they can run all over them.
Well, I have an incredibly convincing Chargers score. 26-25
Okay.
is my score. Super convincing in this one. I want to talk about Austin Eckler, huge difference maker. Obviously, a lot of people are out in this one for the Chargers. We just saw Keenan Allen not playing. Mike Williams not playing. Well, it's going to be difficult. There's a lot of things that's not ideal. However, the Falcons are missing pieces in their secondary as well. And while I've seen some interesting things from pressure against Justin Herbert in this offense, I think that the ultimate outlet has been Austin Eckler. They've had some time to kind of regroup here. So the model thinks Austin Eckler is the difference maker in this matchup and gives them hugely convincing one. Hugely.
If it's going to happen, it has to be Austin Eckler, considering who's missing. I'll say the injuries in the Falcons secondary and the injuries on the outside for the Chargers wash each other out. And we just have to look at how these teams have played this season. And Greg already mentioned the problems that Brandon Staley's defense has had against the run. How about this from the Atlanta Falcons and their quarterback and his ability, Marcus Mariota? In 4 games at home, the Atlanta Falcons have averaged over 180 yards rushing. They do that every time out. Their lowest total was just over 160 yards at home. I see the Falcons running all over this Chargers team for a convincing, as Cynthia put it, 22-21 victory at home in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where they run, Rachel.
Oh, I am giving it to the Falcons as well, 27-21.
Are you
It is
gonna
a
stick with that?
prime
You can have
number. There you go, Cynthia. Obviously, the injuries on the Chargers. Speaking of injuries, it's no secret. I feel like Justin Herbert's just not looked himself the whole season since he's been injured. The Falcons have been feisty. I think 3 out of their 4 losses have been by 1 score or less. They can stay in games. So there you go, 27-21 against the Chargers. Okay, is it too early to think about the draft? Huh?
No.
Okay.
Never.
Maybe not
Yeah.
for
I love the draft.
Maybe
I think
not.
this is
I
dark.
love the draft.
Maybe not for the loser in Jacksonville this weekend. The Raiders and the Jags both holding picks in the top 6 if the season ended today. Good news for both of them.
Roar.
It doesn't end today. So there you go. Greg, the Raiders scored 0 points a week ago. Zip. Slate favorites this week against the Jags. Who do you?
I like the Raiders. I like both these teams better than their record. I don't think they'll be in the top 5 of the draft when we get to the end of the season. They're 0-10, these 2 teams combined in 1-score games. So they've been close. They just haven't quite gotten it done. But I trust the Raiders more because I trust their offense more, especially against this Jacksonville defense, which has spent money in a lot of bad places. Trent Baalke, their general manager, has outlasted about 7 different coaching changes between his last 2 jobs in San Francisco and Jacksonville. But he just keeps hanging on. And you look at where he spent his money this offseason. They're the 2nd most expensive defense in the league. Darius Williams is giving up big-time plays in the secondary. Foye Oluokun, an off-ball linebacker, paid huge money, not playing well at all. And then Trayvon Walker, I think he's going to get there eventually, but he's not really helped them out as a pass rusher as a number 1 overall pick. So yes, Trevor Lawrence hasn't been great, but the defense has been even more disappointing over the last month to me.
Well, I have the opposite situation
Okay.
here. I have the Jags. Another really convincing one here, 1.24-23 is my pick. Travis Etienne has been just this difference maker, and obviously no more James Robinson means that Etienne and his ability to earn first downs on the ground reliably through the air and the short passes has made a huge difference for Trevor Lawrence. I don't think that the Raiders defense is something that you're sitting there being like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, they're so good, and, you know, they're stopping
No,
people.
I just ignored that part of the argument.
Got it.
That's the way to do it when you're building your case. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well, you know, look, I acknowledge that there are some areas where the Jags defense could be better, but I think that the Raiders defense also has some areas of improvement as well. So when I'm looking at this one, I think that the run game and the ability to give stability to Trevor Lawrence through Travis Etienne makes a difference.
Yeah, it's the area where those problems get highlighted. And we saw the Raiders' issues with Alvin Kamara out of the backfield. And of course, a lot of teams are going to have issues with Alvin Kamara out of the backfield. But Travis Etienne presents a unique problem. And I think Evan Ingram does as well. You've seen so many plays this season where the Jags left tackle and Cam Robinson is out in front blocking, getting him out in space against the corners who can't necessarily challenge him up high. Like this exact play right there, blocking for Evan Ingram. It's like we get to pick this video. The Raiders were
Bad.
exposed.
Come on, though.
And
You've
I'm
picked the
not-
Jaguars so many times this year.
And I've
Cynthia
gotten
has
burned.
Too, and I have too, and we've all gotten burned. Don't you just
Haven't
feel
you
burned
learned
by
your
the
lesson?
Jaguars? That's why.
I have never learned a lesson in my life. I'm
It's
taking
1
it back.
point.
Good for
Sure,
you.
someone has to.
You hold strong. I am going the Raiders as well. I know these teams probably don't want to look back on the past too much. Raiders, the last week. Putting up a goose egg has got to be one of the most humiliating things that you can do in the NFL. And Derek Carr's actually done it before. And then he turned around the next week and put up a career-high passer rating,
Ooh, I like
140, and beat the 49ers, okay? This guy takes that seriously. That is humiliation wished upon no one in the NFL. I think that they bounce back and they win 24-20 over the Jags, who have lost a million games in a row.
Like that score.
Yeah, I do like that. Listen, I know Kirk Cousins is a very humble man, is what I was trying to say. But I feel like he really needs to just lean in all the way to you like that. Merch, like I'm talking Baker Mayfield levels of merch.
Like we're bringing it back. We're bringing you like that back.
Mugs, just go all in. It's too good. It is too good. Let's talk about Kirk Cousins in this game. Vikings only favored by 3. Will they pull it out against the Commanders, Greg?
Well,
Sorry.
no, it's fine. There are those people out there that think Kirk crumbles in these situations, and that could be his line of artisanal cookies. But I am looking at this Vikings defense, especially Zadarius Smith, because I have the Vikings winning this one in the Kirk Cousins revenge game, 27-21, because Zadarius Smith is leading the NFL in sacks. And as much as we love Taylor Heineke running around for several minutes and throwing YOLO balls to Terry McLaurin, which is the best bet the Commanders offense has right now, this Vikings defense makes that particular thing tough, and that's why I have a Minnesota win.
Oh yeah, I don't think Kirk crumbles in Washington. I mean, this is a true revenge game. You get major motivation. Kirk crumbles in Washington.
Sin, you have a closer game. What do you think about this one?
When I'm looking at this matchup, it's more about game pace. I think that Dalvin Cook will be used, and it's not necessarily like an indictment of anything bad with the Vikings. It's just more that I think we've seen Taylor Heineke connect with Terry McLaurin. We've seen some of these things happen, and I think they'll slow down the pace.
All right, Crumbles, do your thing. Greg, Patriots, Colts. Remember when this game used to be really fun to watch? Manning, Brady. How about Ellinger Jones?
Oh, I know, it's like the offense buried early.
Yeah.
The main announcers aren't on this game. But I just want to see Mac Jones play a little better. I have the Patriots winning this game. I trust them more. Jonathan Taylor is out for Indianapolis. Ellinger was fine last week. I don't think he's really going to make or break their season. But Mac Jones is going to make or break the Patriots season. And he's looked considerably worse this year than he did as a rookie. And that game against the Jets, I thought was one of the worst games of his career. So I'm getting a little concerned as a resident or former resident of Massachusetts.
When I'm looking at fantasy situations here, Damian Harris has been ill, so perhaps that means an even bigger opportunity for Ramondre Stevenson, who already had a very big projection, but fantasy.
Going off.
Is Ramondre Stevenson like a top 6-5 back in the league?
Yes.
He's like a league winner fantasy.
He's a league winner, absolutely, and you want to have even more shares of him this week.
Ellinger Jones, by the way, we talked about, could be like the next James Bond.
For sure.
Like if somebody names their child that.
The American version, though.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
He's from Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit all the way. The Bills are double-digit favorites against the Jets this week. I have got the Bills by a touchdown. Sin, what does the model say?
Model says 12 points, 29-17 in this matchup. I think a lot of people are excited to see maybe this Sauce Gardner versus Stephon Diggs, but unfortunately, it's probably not going to happen very much because of where everyone lines up. Sauce has not been traveling. It'd be weird for him to start doing that now. And then, of course, you have Stephon Diggs lining up all over that formation. So it just seems to me like this isn't going to be the kind of fun matchup that we were maybe hoping when you watch. And Greg, what on earth is the score?
8 point. Has Dan seen this?
Well, do you know when you score a touchdown, you get 6, and then you can go for 2? That makes 8. That makes sense. How about Zach Wilson is one of the worst NFL quarterbacks against pressure in the history of the league. Just like the numbers say that. And the Bills are one of the best teams, if not the best teams, creating pressure. It all makes sense.